We all know about the situation with Kwite. Yes, I'm a knockoff version, but you can call me Riddle or Bones or Faggot. But we all know the situation Kwite on Twitter. Username Vriska, I believe. Vriska's number one supporter. Posted a twitlonger saying how Kwite R-worded them. Called them a dyke. And this is what some of the twitlonger says. Hello, I never felt that I could come out about this, and I have struggled with this for years before writing this. And I doubt it'll be anything close of years after I write this that this will be released. But in the case that you were reading this, I have come out to lay what happened to me when I was R-worded by a man known as a YouTuber Kwite in February of 2018. And I have been in an extremely toxic friendship, on and off relationship with him since 2017. You can see that I've been a fan of Kwite. He was an inspiration why I started this. And reading this really hurt me. Now, I believe in the innocent until proven guilty. So I'm on neither side. I'm waiting till he responds. But here is the other paragraphs. To start in the beginning, I had found Kwite's channel and it had less than 500 subscribers, and as a teenager, wanted to make fun for him. Because he didn't use his face in videos, I thought he would have an easier time if I drew him and recommended he wore sunglasses and a face mask instead of manually keying his face out with a black box. Now, I'm not defending Kwite at all. These accusations are terrible, and I would never even support someone who actually would have done this. But I don't believe that he had a black square in his first video. I'm not sure. I'm not supporting him currently right now, as of I've read this a couple weeks ago. There, I essentially came up with the persona for him and drew various talk sprites for him for free, that he only ever used maybe once. We were talking around the same age and slowly began talking and bonding over shared mental health issues. At this time, I was undiagnosed with autism and borderline personality disorder, which I have diagnosed now, and thus was unaware on how these would affect me in the coming relationship we had, and now he would, most likely, without knowing, take advantage of me. As we all know, borderline personality disorder, I'm not completely sure, but it can mess up someone's entire life and take away chances from them. I myself have autism, so I would know how autism would affect them. And yeah. At first, we were extremely close in the ways that helped the both of us. He shared bits of his past, and I shared mine. However, slowly my status as an artist would land me more in YouTuber circles than his, and he would slowly try to encourage me to let him join said spaces. As a friend, of course, I wanted to include him as many as I could, as I did, and he made various connections outside of me, and our relationship grew transactional. Well, I won't say I was the most stable person at the time. I was actively unkind and could not say the same for him. When my abandonment issues would arise, he would leave me ignored, and then when I was having the worst time, he would swoop in and save me and keep me under his thumb. He would yell at me and act passive-aggressive towards me when being my friend was inconvenient, but love bombed me, and it was just us, or he needed something from me. He would use my memory issues against me and gaslight me about things he said, and he would, most of the conversations he had calls or Skype, because the messages delete after a certain amount of time, and he would actively talk about his new friends to me, or he wanted me to do something for him, and took up a great amount of my time. About their art thing that they said about the sprites that he only used a couple of times, I think once they said, and they did it for free. I don't condone people doing art for free. You shouldn't ask people who charge art a good personal price for free art, because that's how they pay rent, bills, for food. And me personally, I am an artist, kind of, and I've only charged about maybe 5-6 drawings in my life, and I currently got paid 20 for one of them. Hello, I know you're watching this probably. Eventually, we met in real life a few times. I had a transphobic parent, so I told him about my dead name to use only when my parents were talking to him. But after knowing this information, he would use it the way to belittle me. I don't condone transphobia. As a trans man, I'll sock you in the face if you do that to me. The first meeting was fine, but he had a rule that I wasn't allowed to take any pictures of him, but he was allowed to take pictures of me. After promising and begging to take a few pictures that wouldn't, and still haven't, been posted for memories, he let me take a few before he left. Taking pictures, especially without someone's consent, is terrible. It's horrible and awful. You should never take pictures of someone without their consent. The second meeting, however, was different. We had planned to meet up while he was on vacation in my city, and thus I would pick him up in my car, and we would go to both Trampoline Park and go see the Black Panther. It's a good movie, by the way. You should go see it if you haven't. This is where the worst of his behavior occurred. At this time, we were both on and off flirting, and I discussed if we were both single, and this time he would take each other's V card. However, once he had come onto me in the backseat of my car, I started to get cold feet. However, he did not want... He did not want to take no for an answer, my bad. In the back of my seat of my own car, he R-worded me. All the while I was telling him how it hurt and I didn't want this to do this anymore. He kept telling me, this is what you wanted. As he went, but soon got bored of it and got out. I sat in my car by myself for a bit before going to join him in the movie, and we planned to see each other to make up. He had me buy him popcorn, and I put the event out of my mind as just two V's for being bad at intercourse, and hung out with him for the rest of the day. As he was still one of my closest friends, I have a video with him to prove we were together at the time. That I was able to post only for myself after begging him to take pictures with me because we were friends. And this is why you don't form relationships with YouTubers. But as of now, Kwite has not responded to the allegations. He did respond once, which was him saying he would respond to the allegations eventually. And once again, I don't condone non-consensual intercourse. It's horrible. Anything that isn't like child abuse, anything like non-consensual is a no-go for me, especially since I am a child. And I would never think of doing that at all. I don't really understand why people in their right mind would think, hey, I'm gonna do something that would get me in trouble because I am famous. But as of right now, I am showing support for the victim, and I do recommend you go read this all, because this is not all of it that I've read. And it's really sad that someone had to go through this, especially with someone such as Kwite. As I said, I'm not on either side. But as of right now, we are all anticipating his response. And if you were watching this and saying, oh, they support Kwite, I don't. Not of right now. If he has proof that this was all fake, I want him to respond. I genuinely hope this is. I'm a big fan of Kwite. At least I was before the allegations. Subscribe.